Howdy y'all, you got the Bulldog on the channel. Today we're working on a Ecoboost Ford F-150 and it's kind of tall, so I gotta get my steps. Slide them up on there. Piston's twin turbo flavor. Got all these tubes and hoses and everything, snaggling it all up. These things are, they're not really overly complicated. They're kind of tedious to work on. They tie up your shop for a while. There's, a few mistakes that can be had with them, but most of them are not small mistakes. So dealers don't even want to work on them. We get tapped in on occasion to do them, and I'm getting to where I have to do more and more of them. I've been told that not many people in this area will work on them, so maybe we should charge a premium. But anyway, customer complaint is when you start it up cold in the morning, it sounds like you poured a can of nickels down through the throttle and then it clears up. Most of the time what that is a secondary timing chains. Back in behind here, you've got the big timing chain that goes all the way around, and you've got a little timing chain that goes from one cam to the other on each side. And what happens is that chain gets stretched out, gets to the limit of its little tensioner. It has a little lock on the tensioner that keeps it from collapsing all the way, but it gets to where it can't lock anymore, and after you shut it off and all the oil settles out of it, when you start it up, the chain's slack because the chain's all stretched out. Ford came out with a bulletin to change the primary timing chain, and that was the first one we got into, is where they'd already done the primary timing chain, and it still had the exact same problem. And, it couldn't be the timing chain because they'd already done it. Well, it has two more, and itty bitty little short things. They were floppy loose when you first started. When the oil pressure came up, it tightened the chains up like it was supposed to, but it couldn't lock in that position. So we ended up having to go in there and do everything they did all over again. Ever since then, we've learned that you can't short on these jobs. You can't try to make it cheaper for the customer. You just go in there and do everything. So whenever you're pricing one of these, if you have one and you get it, it gets to where when you start it up in the morning, it rattles like a rock in a tin can for a few seconds. Most likely it's going to be your secondary timing chains. And don't go for the guy that tells you it's going to, you can get by with something. Don't get by. Just go ahead and fix it. Because if you spend $1,000 getting by and then have to spend $2,000 fixing it right, you didn't save $1,000. You spent an extra $1,000. So keep it in mind.